So if a man is emotionally entangled with his mother, and he spends most of his life doing things for her, and he typically neglects his own life, then it can seem as though he only has issues with his mother. And if he was to resolve these issues, he'd be able to live his own life. However, even though it can seem this way, he is also likely to have issues with his father. And this is because both his mother and his father would have played a part in why he is the way he is. And if a man who was in this position was to hear this, he could end up being confused or dismiss what has been said and simply say that, no, it is only due to what his mother did. And if he was to say this, this can just be seen as a consequence of the fact that his father probably wasn't around, or if he was, he probably wasn't emotionally available. And so due to how distant his father was, if he was around, there's going to be no reason for him to even consider the fact that his father would have played a role, because his mother would have been the one who clearly had an effect on him. During this time in his life, his mother would have used him to meet some of her adult and unmet childhood needs, and she would have often smothered him, so she would have been out of touch with herself, and so she would have ended up being out of touch with him and unable to give him what he needed to experience an emotional birth, to feel whole and complete as an adult. And the reason why his father would have played a part is because his father would have been there to pull him out of his mother's world and to give him the guidance, the support, the encouragement that he needed to develop into a strong and capable man, to develop his masculine element. And so a very simple way of looking at it would be to say that his mother was there to allow him to develop his feminine side, and his father was there to allow him to develop his masculine side. And his father would have played a role, an important role, perhaps after a few years. So in the beginning it would have been primarily about his mother, but of course if his father wasn't there and it was purely down to his mother to look after him, not having his father there would have meant it was harder for her to truly be there for him. And so if he was to face up to the reality that his father wasn't there, he could end up experiencing a lot of anger, a lot of rage, and under this he could feel unwanted, unloved, rejected and abandoned by his father. But when it comes down to what his father did and didn't do, and the same for his mother, this most likely would have been something that took place unconsciously, so they wouldn't have consciously gone out of their way to harm him. And so essentially they both would have been asleep, and they were not aware of what was going on due to their own wounds, their own pain, most likely going back to their early years and the fact that they were deeply wounded by their parents, and this would have been repressed and suppressed, and so they ended up acting out and replaying this early pain and going from wounded to wounding others. And so there will be the wounds that he will need to come to terms with when it comes to his mother and his father. And so if you're a man in this position and you can see that you are carrying a lot of pain, then you may need to reach out for external support from a therapist or a healer or a coach, someone that can provide you with the guidance and the support that you need to gradually move forward. Because although your mother and your father may have abandoned you and rejected you, this doesn't mean that you have to reject and abandon yourself. You have inherent worth and you deserve to live a great life, but you have to know this at the core of your being. So please don't suffer in silence, and don't allow your history to weigh you down forever. To find out more about the services that I offer and how I can assist you on your journey, go to www.mother-enmeshed.com. info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.